welcome to AboutFACE Theatre presents 5 Questions With, and today's guest, Sarah Jane Shiels. Sarah Jane is a lighting and set designer. She first began designing age 14 while at Dublin Youth Theatre, completed her BA in Drama and Theatre Studies from Trinity, and is a graduate of the Rough Magic Seeds programme. She has designed acclaimed productions for companies such as Brokentalkers, The Lyric, Rough Magic, Junk Ensemble, ThisisPopBaby, and the Abbey, among others. Her productions have received 2 Irish Times Theatre Awards, as well as 4 other nominations, plus 2 Dublin Fringe Awards. In addition, from 2010 to 2017, Sarah Jane was co-artistic director of WillFredd Theatre. Sarah Jane, you're very welcome.
Thanks very much for having me here.
Yeah, it's great. So Sarah Jane, we're just going to jump straight in and ask if you can tell us what experience or play first got you into theatre.
So my first recollection of live theatre was going to see Cats in the Point in Dublin. I must have been maybe 6 at the time, and I went with my mum and my grandmother. And we sat in these blue plastic bleacher seats in the old Point shed, as it was at the time. And I don't remember much about the production, but I remember being terrified of McCavity. You know, the mystery cat with the orange eyes falling around the rafters, and I was like, what is going on? So that was my first recollection of live theatre. I'm a big musical fan. I love musicals. I'm going to put it out to the universe. I want to.
Yeah.
So I thought that maybe I wanted to be on stage, and I joined a couple of dance schools. You know, I did the Billy Barry thing for a while, and then decided, well, maybe somebody decided for me that I was better off backstage. So yeah, I remember wanting to do medicine in school during my transition year, and the Abbey outreach program, who were working on Tempest at the time, came into our school and did a drama workshop. And suddenly I was like, oh, people can make a living working in theatre. So I cancelled all my work experiences, which were booked up in hospitals at the time, and took work experience in the Abbey and with team theatre. And in team theatre, I remember talking to Michael Murphy, who was the artistic director at the time. And I was kind of saying to him, and I was like, where do you go to do theatre? Like, there's nowhere. And he looked at me and he was like, have you heard of Dublin Youth Theatre? And I was like, oh. And he was artistic director of DYT at the time as well. So he kind of got me in there. And I did, before becoming a member, I kind of went in and operated sound for a couple of the one-act shows, and then applied to be a member the year after that. And that's kind of, I was 14 at the time, and that's when I started learning about lighting design for the first time. Yeah. And yeah, just kind of, it all felt very natural after that. You know, I went to Trinity College and did the drama and theatre studies degree, which is kind of very academic and very broad. You know, you do absolutely everything. So then when I left college, I loved costume design, I loved costume history, and I still love lighting. So I applied to the Rough Magic Seeds programme as both a costume and a lighting designer. I was like, oh, I don't know which one I want to do. And Lynn Parker, in her wisdom, said, I think you're going to be a lighting designer. And I was like, okay. We'll go with that. Yeah, so then I did Seeds for the 18 months, and it was a fantastic experience. It was, you know, coming out of college, not knowing where to go. Rough Magic really kind of put their arm around you and kind of said, you know, this is the avenues that you can find. And I met quite a few of my colleagues that I still work with on that Seeds program as well. I currently rent a desk in Rough Magic, so actually I haven't left 2006. I might be a weed at this stage, but
That's excellent.
That's great, Sarah Jane. Okay, so Sarah, you obviously have worked on loads of different plays. You talk about your own love of theatre and musicals and stuff. So what's one great play that you love and why?
Oh, I was thinking about this today, and I was like, oh, I don't read plays as a hobby. You know, I kind of, and a lot of things I work on don't begin as plays. You know, there might be like choreography or an ensemble piece. But one play that I really loved was written by a good friend of mine, Sonia Kelly, who I think is a fantastic playwright. The play was called How to Keep an Alien, and it was about a couple's struggle and the red tape and the hoops that they had to jump through in order for one of the partners to stay in Ireland, and she was from Australia. So she was trying to get a visa. And like the paper trail to say like these two people are in a relationship and they are living together and they do text each other every night, you know, is kind of incredible. But Sonia has such a genius touch when it comes to writing comedy and keeping the heart in it. So that for me is a great play. And also the fact that it's a true story, I think it was just fantastic kind of testament to Sonia and Kate's relationship. And I remember I was lucky enough to work on that play, and we toured it to Brisbane, and Kate's family came to see it. So it was quite a surreal experience to be sitting there with her family while Kate was in Ireland and Sonia was in Brisbane. Yeah.
That's why. That's cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, so I really like all of Sonia's work, but I think for me, working on that show and seeing it come to life from the very beginning was quite special.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Great. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. So can you tell us about a time in your theatre life where something turned out differently than you expected?
I think every production. I think that, so I designed the lights for Dublin Old School. That was written by Emmett Kerwin and directed by Philip McMahon. And I was brought on board as a lighting designer, but there was no set designer. So Philip asked me would I kind of look after the stage setup as well. And I was like, yeah, okay. And I wanted to keep it simple. So I thought maybe I'll do something kind of architectural with the lighting. So we decided to go with like these kind of color changing tubes and hang them in the space and make kind of corridors and things like that. So it was better for us to buy them because we wanted to be able to tour the show. So we had put in the order for these lighting tubes from Germany. But the show was going on just before Christmas. So the closer we were getting to Tech Week, there was no sign of these tubes. You know, they had like been shipped from Germany to Europe. They had arrived in Ireland, and then the paper trail was gone. You know, you can never really know where. As soon as something comes into Ireland, you're like, oh, it will get here at some point. And there was huge delays. I think there might have been bad weather, and I don't know what was going on. So we had to keep going. We checked the show without them, and they arrived, I think, maybe half an hour before the dress rehearsal, and the producer ran in and like she's like, oh look, they arrived, and I was like, we can't put them in now. But I think that we made a better show without them. I think Dublin Old School became really successful in its simplicity, which really kind of forefronted Emmett's language and his words, and the fact that the two actors were playing all of the characters without things like costume changes or scene changes. So it really kind of actually worked for the production in a good way. So I'm very glad that they didn't arrive on time.
Yeah,
great.
That's cool.
Fantastic. Okay, so Sarah Jane, so you've worked on some great productions already, lots of different companies. So what is it that keeps you coming back to the theatre? What moves you? What excites you about theatre?
I think the art form, especially lighting, is so diverse. You know, it's practical, it's creative, it's problem solving. You're working with a range of different technologies, and you're always kind of finding new things. So I really love working in lighting design. I absolutely love the people as well. I think there's such a good heart in this industry, and I think that when you're in a rehearsal room with people, when you're in a theatre working towards a tech to an opening performance, like if you don't want to be there, you're not going to have a good time. So most people really want to be there. Everyone's working towards a final goal, which is putting on a great show for a live audience. So I think that creates an incredible energy that I haven't really found in any other industry.
Yeah, perfect.
Nice. Yeah. So is there you know, a tool from theater, because since you've been doing it for a while now, right, since you know, at least before 14, but you know, definitely officially, but is there a tool that you've learned from theater that you have found useful in the rest of your life?
I think the skills working in lighting design, I think are by and large all kind of useful. I think learning how to kind of draw plans and work in a 3D virtual space is incredibly useful to me especially at the moment, because so when we weren't working last year, I went and did a master's in interactive digital media, and it was a lot of things I had done in theatre kind of really spoke to that course as well. So learning new technologies, but be able to kind of work with, having experience with CAD, for example, was really beneficial working in that course. I think as well, learning how to make decisions quickly and on the spot, is something that I've been trained to do, and trying to hopefully keep the head in stressful situations. I mean, I don't know, like I think I've been doing it for so long. I think it's definitely kind of shaped who I am. Speaking to somebody a few minutes ago, actually, that was saying she found it really difficult to not be working during Christmas, because you're meant to like take a break and enjoy not having to work, but actually what we do is who we are. And when that goes away, then there's a kind of a bit of a void there that sometimes you miss. So I'm really blessed to be able to work in something that I love.
Absolutely. That's brilliant. Well, Sarah Jane, this has been really brilliant. Thanks so much. As a bonus question, can you tell us anything about what you're working on at the moment?
Yes. So my next production is in the Arc, in the Children's Theatre. And it's a production called Wires, Strings and Other Things. And it's going to be, it's a music performance with 3 performers around the themes of connection and connectivity, and how we connect with each other through music. So I'm really looking forward to starting with tomorrow. I'll be starting on that.
Oh, great. Oh, that sounds lovely. It sounds really fun. Well, Sarah Jane, thank you so much for joining us. This has been so great. Yeah, so wonderful. And thank you to you, the audience, as well. If you enjoyed the interview, please like below, follow AboutFACE, and share, because we believe theatre makes life better. See you next time on AboutFACE Theatre presents 5 Questions With.
If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and share. Thanks for watching.